Hey everyone, and welcome back to the 9 Frames podcast. This is episode 84, and it is Wednesday, March 20th, 2024. I'm Bill Whalen.
And I'm Mike Whalen.
Be sure to catch us, as always, on YouTube at 9 Frames Podcast. Our Spotify is 9 Frames, and our X is at 9 Frames Pod. Please follow us on there, subscribe, like, comment, and share if you enjoy the show.
Yeah, it's been about a week since the last episode because there really hasn't been much news. There is probably the biggest signing left has happened. And then some injury news.
Not to mention, man, the official start of the 2024 regular season is upon us. We had our alarm set this morning, got up to watch the Dodgers take on the Padres in Seoul, Korea. It was a fun watch. We'll talk about that and all the news from last week. And we will start this episode off by talking about that game that did take place this morning, bright and early. It was a fun watch for sure. How'd you like it?
I didn't like that it was at 6 a.m. I mean, obviously, but it was a really good baseball game. It went the exact way as we all kind of assumed it would, with the Dodgers being as stacked as they are this year.
Yeah, the depth of that lineup is really what showed out tonight.
It's scary. It really is. When you see it in like full form in a regular season setting, their lineup is very scary.
Mm-hmm. Throughout the game, they were making Darvish work. He ended up getting pulled in the fourth inning. I thought it was a little bit premature.
It was only around like 70 pitches, 75 pitches like that.
Had given up one run at the point to tie up the game for the Dodgers there. That was a 1-1 game. So I think that's kind of the story of this game. It was Glasnow versus Darvish. Yeah, and both of these pitchers worked out a lot of big spots throughout their starts.
Yeah, it's the continuation of the Dodgers dominating the Padres as we saw last year. The Padres are not good in one-run games or close games in general, and the Dodgers were, and that's how it went again.
Yeah, this one ended up being a close game late, and their bullpen really melted down because we talked about how much moves they made in the bullpen during the offseason, the Padres, that is, and that just didn't pay off in Game 1 here.
No, I mean, I feel like we were talking about that guy Woo Suk Go. He's not even on the rotation on the roster.
That was shocking.
Maybe he's hurt.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, De Los Santos here for them was having a bit of a rough time. Where did the runs actually come on? It was Brito, who they got from the Yankees in the Juan Soto trade that actually
he couldn't find the zone at all.
Ended up giving up one, then Morejon gave up one as well. And like you said, the Dodgers do take this game 5-2. Ohtani ends up getting his first hit as a Dodger as well as his first RBI.
First two hits.
Yeah, Mookie Betts looked good in this one, getting a nice knock. I mean, the guys showed out, and the Dodgers' depth in their lineup prevails.
Yep, went exactly how we all thought it would. And then we'll have to see again tomorrow morning,
Baseball
6 o'clock, same
back.
time.
Yeah. And it is odd to do, but after talking about a regular season game, the Dodgers being 1-0 and the Padres being 0-1, we do move back to off-season news because it's still the off-season for most of the league.
Yeah, opening day is going to be next Thursday for everybody besides these two teams. And the Giants are going to be the first ones to bolster their rotations.
Finally, man, we have been waiting for this signing forever. Blake Snell is going to the San Francisco Giants. The reigning National League Cy Young Award winner agrees to a 2-year, $62 million deal with an opt-out after the first.
Yeah, it's a long time coming. I don't know how he was still a free agent. I mean, I thought the Giants were going to be one of them, if not the front runner, and they land their guy.
Ends up signing this contract just 10 days before his new team opens its regular season against his former team, the Padres, who he will be making his first start against.
He was already in the dugout with them last night, too.
Mm-hmm. This is a peculiar one because he got $31 million a year here on this, but Houston and the Yankees declined to go over 30, and that's why they missed out on him. I mean, it just kind of seems when the Yankees say that they're all in, and then they don't pay a couple extra $1 million
it's because of how far over the tax they are already.
Yeah, it's an intense tax, and we have seen that billionaire tax really does dissuade people from spending big over the luxury.
Yeah, that's the entire purpose of it being put there.
Yeah, but now Blake Snell goes to the San Francisco Giants. This is I think this is where I predicted him going last. It was either that or the Angels. So, I mean, it's a pretty good match.
Yeah, and the Giants have had a massive offseason, probably only second to the Dodgers.
Yeah, added Robbie Ray, they added Hicks to start.
Soler, Chapman.
Young-Ho Lee for the outfield.
Young-Ho Lee, now Blake Snell.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be a fun team to watch.
They've got the top two from the Cy Young finish last year. They got Blake Snell, who won, and Logan Webb, who finished second.
It's kind of insane to think about, but even though there are a lot of good rosters in that National League West, it's kind of hard to think about anybody taking it but the Dodgers.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's going to pick the Dodgers to win the division, obviously, because they spent $1 billion this offseason on 3 players, but Yeah, we'll see. I mean, baseball's a long season. We'll see how it shakes out.
Yeah, I give it an A grade on the Giants offseason here. They did what they needed to do.
Definitely. I mean, they've showed the past couple off seasons that they've been trying to give people money, but people just haven't been willing to take their money. And this offseason, a bunch of people were willing to take their money.
Very much a new look squad. We'll keep our eye on them as the season starts next week. Unfortunately here, folks, we are going to have to talk about a good chunk of injuries because there just have been so many as the season draws to a start. After an MRI, this is well known if you're in on baseball news at this point, but Garrett Cole will not need Tommy John surgery, but he will be missing at least 1 to 2 months for the Yankees.
Yeah, and I hate when they do that stuff with he won't need Tommy John. He'll just be able to rest it. It's not something that's going to go away when the guy throws 98 miles per hour every fifth day for a living.
Yeah, this does feel like putting off the inevitable. This is what the Mets did with Jacob deGrom, and he ended up needing the surgery as well.
And the Rangers don't have him now because of it.
And when he was pitching, it would come with all of these breaks with inflammation and an uncomfortable elbow. So if Garrett Cole takes 2 months off, he comes back, that elbow could flare right back up.
100%.
Yeah, this is a tough knock for the Yankees. I don't know why I saw people saying it was a win. Actually, part of the argument was that the Yankees would go out and get a pitcher like Snell, and then they ended up missing on him as well. So
they didn't get Cease either, as he gets traded to the Padres.
All that's left is Jordan Montgomery.
Yeah, so they could either go for Jordan Montgomery, or they're going to need to fill either internally or with some lower level guys, like maybe a Michael Lorenzen is out there. I don't know what the Yankees are doing.
Sticking with more Yankees news as well, because they have been getting bitten by the injury bug. Aaron Judge MRI on his abdominal area said the test did not show any structural damage. He won't swing a bat until at least later in the week. This week, I still don't think he swung at this point. Yeah, and he added that he hopes to be ready for opening day on March 28th in Houston against the Astros.
Yeah, and this is a guy that I'm supposed to expect to play a full season in center field now.
And when you think, we're talking about his abdominal area, he missed nearly 2 months last season with a toe injury that's still bothering him to this day.
Yeah, I mean, his feet are always going to be banged up because of how large he is.
They said earlier in spring training his toe injury will require quote-unquote constant maintenance. So, I mean, when you already have that to deal with and now your abdominals hurt as well, not a good look.
I just feel like putting him in center field is not a good idea.
Not at all, especially, I mean, when he hurt himself, it was out there playing the outfield in Dodger Stadium.
They don't have a choice, though, because Giancarlo has to DH. He's even less mobile.
Yeah, that is very true.
They've completely screwed themselves with two giant men and Giancarlo has lost a bunch of weight this offseason, but still, he's a huge guy.
Yeah, Judge is 31 at this point, and then Stanton's got like 5 years on him, right?
So yeah, the Yankees are in a very interesting situation.
Yeah, when Judge does play, he rakes, and everybody knows it. He returned to hit 18 home runs with a 966 OPS in 57 games after that toe injury. But
when he's healthy, he's one of the best players in baseball.
With his body already banged up as if he's playing, and we are not yet. I mean, it's not great.
Yeah, it's I keep going back to the center field thing. I think it's just insane for a guy that's had an extensive injury history with nagging injuries to move him to a position that's going to require him to move more.
Yeah, we said this at the end of last season. That's a lot of mileage on a guy with that size, with the legs that he's got. I mean,
with the history.
Yeah, especially now that, because a lot of times people say hamstrings and calves will go on big guys, but now he's got a known toe injury as well. That's a lot in the
and his
body.
Abdominal.
That is a lot. It's a lot of weight to carry for 162 games. And it'll be interesting to see if he's capable of doing that.
Definitely.
This one here, man, this one hurts. The next injury. Devin Williams, the stud closer for the Milwaukee Brewers, is diagnosed with 2 stress fractures in his back and is expected to miss around 3 months. This is a big knock.
Absolutely brutal.
NL Central champions lose their closer here, and this was at a time where they were going to lean on their bullpen after losing their ace and probably their second option in Brandon Woodruff as well.
Yeah, he's going to be out for most of the year, if not all of it. So, I mean, the Brewers are dealing with some really rough injuries as well right now.
Yeah, Williams is a 2-time NL reliever of the year and owns a career ERA of 1.89, one of the absolute best in the game when he's healthy.
That's the name of the game, though. Baseball is such a long season. You're going to deal with injuries. It's just unfortunate that it's happening to these guys before we start.
Yeah, especially to a team like the Brewers, who, as I said, were going to have to lean on that bullpen a lot, on guys like Devin Williams, too, to get the big outs when they need it.
Yeah, other guys are going to have to step up until he comes back.
We wish him a speedy recovery because, man, he's one of the most fun to watch in the game. That circle change is filthy.
Always, yeah.
The next one here is a young player. This one also hurts. Yuri Perez will be going to a surgeon for his opinion on his elbow. He has elbow discomfort here as well as a nail issue, chip nail.
That's brutal. I mean, the nail is not really as big of an issue, obviously, but the elbow is crazy because last year they were so overly protective of him. We remember the guy was having a great season, and they sent him down because of an innings limitation, and he still gets hurt.
In the midst of a playoff race, no less. I remember we were really
Which they
shocked
made.
by it. Yeah, they ended up making it anyway. I mean, the kid, is he even 23 yet?
No.
So he's 22 years old.
I think he was 21. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's still a really young dude. That's
Elbow
why
discomfort is worrying. Man, a lot of pitchers are dropping like flies right now, and it is interesting. We're going to talk about it in a little bit here because Chris Bassett made some comments. There are a couple of things that this could be causing this, but it's a real trend in baseball in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I know people are going to try to blame the pitch clock, but I don't believe that.
Yeah, that's not what Bassett said though.
Yeah, I don't believe the pitch clock allegations.
It's fair enough. I have seen some things. The last thing we'll talk about here is also a pitcher getting injured. Johan Duran of the Minnesota Twins is dealing with an injury as well, a moderate oblique strain, and will start the season on the IL. Duran goes on the IL. Caleb Thielbar will be on the IL for them, and Anthony DeSclafani are all on the IL to start the season for the AL Central champions.
There's not really much else to say, but it's just tough for all these teams to lose their guys before the season starts.
Mm-hmm. And Chris Bassett's comments here, what he said was teams' obsessions with velocity is why guys are getting hurt. He specifically said,
definitely see that.
He said he does not think it's the pitch or the pitch clock, that is. He thinks it's because the human body is made to throw 91 to 93, and everybody's obsessed with throwing 97 to 100.
Have you seen what the Mets have been doing? They've been telling people not to throw as hard as they possibly can.
There's a reason baseball's worked for so long without guys throwing at that velocity, and, I mean, I think it's about time we revert back a little bit.
Especially because the athletes in baseball now are so good that even if you throw that hard, it doesn't always mean you're getting them out. Mm-hmm. Like, these guys are, like, world-class hitters.
Yeah, especially considering exit velocity is one of those stats that we talk about so much. That only goes up as your pitch velocity does as well.
I feel like guys should focus more on control like Kershaw does as opposed to velocity, and you'll see a difference in health.
I will say that it is concerning that a lot of these injuries are coming as soon as that pitch count or a pitch clock was implemented, but I do think
people have been getting hurt before the season for a while.
A lot of that could be coincidence. I think this velocity revolution of the last 10 years or so is really what the biggest culprit is.
I would definitely put more blame on that than the pitch clock, yeah.
Yeah, but folks, with all those names that we listed there, that's a lot of names to be missing the beginning of the season.
And that's probably not all of them. We probably missed some lower level injuries.
We even talked about some where there are maybes, like Sonny Gray might be ready. Mm-hmm. It's not known, though, that there are a bunch of guys like that as well.
Yep, very true.
The next thing we'll talk about here is a more positive note. This is a signing. Not positive for me because I wanted this guy back in the blue and orange. J.D. Davis agrees to a 1-year contract with the Oakland Athletics just days after he was released by the San Francisco Giants. $2.5 million on that contract, and he gets an additional $1 million in performance bonuses if he can.
I see what he's doing. He went there because he's going to get playing time, obviously.
Full-time.
But damn, the drop off for JD, man.
Yeah, no, that's tough. I mean, the Giants end up saving nearly $6 million when they cut him. J.D. Davis ends up taking a pay cut to go with the A's, and like you said, he is going to play full-time. This is a guy who produces offensively, and he's going to keep doing that. Kind of will be interesting to see as he gets a full-time role there.
Yeah, I respect it too because it's a 1-year deal, so he's gonna show if he can be an everyday player to these other teams that he's going to be re-entering the market next offseason.
Yeah, last year he had .248 with 18 homers and 69 RBI with the Giants. He plays first base and the outfield as well as third base. And the Giants just kind of saw him as expendable, especially now that they signed Matt Chapman.
And Jorge Soler, and like a third of their lineup is new, so they didn't really need JD as much.
Yeah, I don't mind the move for the Giants getting rid of him, but I also don't mind JD signing here. I think it kind of made sense. He gets to be a full-time third baseman, I think. We'll have to see where they end up playing him.
Third, first, DH, that's what he'll probably do, yeah.
We'll see. The last thing we'll talk about here is a pair of signings that the Pittsburgh Pirates made. They got Michael A. Taylor and Domingo Germán. They got an outfielder and a pitcher there, a couple names off the board. What do you think about it?
Nice little moves. Couple moves that are going to be... I mean, it's the Pirates. They don't really have high hopes of winning the division title. But these are guys that, if you are struggling at the deadline, you can pawn off for any kind of prospects.
Yeah, the way that you're explaining these two deals is kind of what the Pirates have been doing all offseason. They're signing solid ball players that could help their team if they are competitive, but most likely they will not be this year. So, yeah, those guys can get shipped pretty easily. These aren't bad contracts at all. $4 million for Michael A. Taylor and Domingo Germán will be league minimum.
Yeah, people will be all over. Other teams will be all over that if the Pirates continue to struggle as they have in the past few years.
Yeah, Michael A. Taylor, known for really good outfield defense out there, probably going to be playing some right field and center field for the Pirates here. It should be fun to watch the Pirates as they have a lot of new players on that team.
Yeah, and I saw a lot of Yankee fans upset that they didn't bring Germán back for that price.
Yeah, Germán and Chapman leaving the Yankees and going to the Pirates this offseason.
Yeah, well, not Chapman.
Oh, well, yeah, technically, no.
He was on the Royals.
Yeah, that was a full
Rangers,
year. Yeah, okay, never mind. But, yeah, still, two former Yankees going to the Pirates there. This is a good offseason for the Pirates. I like it, and it'll be fun to watch them. They have a lot of new guys over there. The last thing I wanted to talk about, our starting pitcher tomorrow, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. He struggled all spring. I just kind of wanted to run down the numbers here as we get ready to watch him pitch and make his regular season debut tomorrow. His last start, he went 4 2/3 innings. He gave up 8 hits, a walk, 4 earned runs, and did get 7 strikeouts. That leads him to a total of 3 games, 9 2/3 innings pitched. He's 0-1. Gave up 9 earned runs for an 8.38 ERA and a 1.97 WHIP.
Yeah, did not have a good spring by any means, but now is when it's going to matter. Tomorrow morning is when the games start to count for him, so he's got to turn it on.
Yeah, worth noting that he's still got 14 Ks out there in the 9 2/3 innings pitched, so the stuff is there. It'll be about how he adjusts over to the MLB game.
$325 million, you can't have a 9 ERA.
Yeah, he'll be playing tomorrow in front of a ton of international fans, and should be interesting. It's a lot of pressure to put on a new pitcher in the bigs.
Definitely, but it's nice for them to get win number 1 out of the way today to ease the pressure a little bit tomorrow.
Yeah, lock in, folks, because this should be a fun watch. It'll be the only show in town. Unfortunately, it will be 6 a.m. Eastern and 3 a.m. Pacific, but lock in if you can, because it should be fun. Thank you to everybody for listening wherever you do. That was episode 84 of the 9 Frames Podcast, and it is Wednesday, March 20th, 2024. I've been Bill Whalen.
And I've been Mike Whalen.
Be sure to catch us, as always, on YouTube at 9 Frames Podcast. Our Spotify is 9 Frames, and our X is at 9 Frames Pod. Please follow us on there, subscribe, like, comment, and share if you enjoy the show.
Yeah, we appreciate it as always, and my whole thing the past couple weeks has been we're getting close, and now we're finally here. Game 1 for the Dodgers and Padres is in the book. We look forward to Game 2 tomorrow, and then we jump all the way ahead to next Thursday, where everybody else will be in action.
Yeah, baseball is back. The first game of the regular season is in the books, and we are just one short week away from a full slate of games. Lock in, folks. I love it.
Good to be back.